excuse my language, but all these fake influencers, man. Hey, don't take the cardio away from me.
In most cases, you see me in the gym, I'm fighting demons, man.
Let me get uncomfortable.
I had a pinched super spinatus that ran all the way down to numbing my last two fingers. Third rep in, I heard a pop. I thought everybody around me heard it.
And I said, no, that. I love motivation.
I've learned I gotta stop doing core. I want to stay under this,
Oh, me too, trust me.
the warmth and the comfort.
Yeah.
I know if I do that, I'm gonna get all fluffy and soft, and I'm never gonna be who I am right now. People think I'm just being pussy. Little do you know, I'm trying to save your life and mine. You're seeing these muscles, you're seeing pain.
If that guy got enhanced,
Oh, problems, bro. Yeah.
there's no sebum. Like, I don't think I'm
Veins have veins, bro.
His veins have veins. I want to eat
Like,
this
shut
shit. Said, buddy, who?
Mother's got it way harder than you do in the gym right now.
What's one underrated exercise everyone should be doing? Welcome back to another episode of On the Run podcast. I don't know what my ultimate goal is from this, but I've always had a passion to enlighten people, through health and wellness, fitness. So I brought in another great guest again, which I believe, carries and practices certain habits that create successful results, essentially. And why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, first of all, thank you, brother. I appreciate that.
Of course, man.
My name is Sean, and I have a passion for fitness, and I've just been on this new journey I've embarked on, thanks to you and Danny and a few others. Shout out Cass. You guys have been instrumental in putting me on this path, and it's been interesting. Um, I'm just looking forward to what this yields in terms of like who I become.
Awesome. Yeah, so for people that don't know, Sean's been obviously going to the gym. I mean, it's not very obvious right now as he's wearing a hoodie, but trust me, if he took it off, it'd be very obvious that he's definitely put years after years of dedicated and hard work. But the one thing that was what I believed was missing from him was a structured approach rather than I'm going to come in there and just kill it, right? And what we spoke about was, you have the right work ethic, you have the right mindset, you have the right effort, but I believe truly you can be a lot, I don't know if this is the word, but like bigger, leaner, all that, like your physique could look a lot better, even though it looks amazing from what it is today or from what it was last year or the year before, from just, how do I say, creating a level of consistency behind your effort, your effort, your consistency and putting it towards a goal. And I think, a lot of people go to the gym and they accomplish, certain levels of their certain goals that they've, put out there, but they've never asked themselves, what is the highest level of that level of achievement, right?
Yeah.
And, obviously someone like yourself with the level of muscle mass that you have, I believe, you with, again, your work ethic, your effort, and the consistency and mindset, you can do really well in a bodybuilding world, which that wasn't really, it's not like it wasn't part of your realm. It is, because you build your body. Obviously, you're a bodybuilder,
Yeah.
of course, by nature.
Yeah.
But the competition aspect of it,
Never a thing.
it was never really a thing. So, first question, it's like, what is the biggest change between the two? Like, what do you feel like is the biggest, more or less, challenge?
in terms of entering the bodybuilding competition.
Yeah,
Um,
from your regular day to day, right?
well, I think it's important to address the first part because, as you're saying, like I was just in the gym, just hammering it out consistent, right? A large part of the reason why because that was therapy for me,
Yep.
right? People see the body and they're like, "Oh, you look great," but that's you seeing my pain.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Like a lot of this is pain, you know.
Yep.
So it was just more or less a place for me to just let loose, go blank. You know, I had my structure and what I wanted to work on. I'd make sure I have my goals set, micro goals. You know, what I mean, in terms of this, you know, letting myself, you know, build. You know, this just let
Of
it out.
course.
You know what I mean?
Like you have the goal of like coming in to a workout and getting the most out of it.
Yes.
You have the goal of trying to lift more, getting an extra rep.
Trying
Of
to push
course.
and see how much heavier I can. I
Yeah,
mean, stuff like
of course.
that.
And that's what I mean by your work ethic, right? And your mindset, and your level of effort that you've always put into your training. This is what I'm talking about, right? So
now the focus in the competition now it's a lot more, you know, dialed into your diet, your conditioning, the consistency. I already had that in there, you know, but now I'm adding the cardio element, which is no secret. I've been sharing. I hate stairs. I hate cardio. I hate steady state specifically. You know what I mean? But you know, implementing that on a daily basis has been new for me. It's a change that I was a little resistant to, but I'm getting accustomed to it, learning to love it. I'm loving hating it because
yeah,
I feel really, really accomplished when I'm walking away from doing 15, 20 minutes of what I hate. You know what I mean?
100%.
And I think, you know, just dialing in with a specific focus and checking in, all these things are new for me.
Yeah.
I'm being held accountable by other people as well. You know, that's been new. Um, you know, and just sticking with a regimen that's not my own, meal plan that I've never, you know, put together myself. Like all these
Yeah.
things are all new and different, and I'm enjoying it. Being able to go to the gym and just turn you off your own switch and just follow someone else's plan, you know, like
Yeah.
just go on autopilot. It's awesome, you know.
It's awesome, right? You're just putting the energy behind it.
It's been
But as you mentioned, it's like the layers that you had to add to your already good, you know, structure
Mhm.
really is the challenge, right? And I'm sure today, obviously, after like 2 months of working with Amr, shout out Amr, the best coach in the city,
Yes, sir.
actually probably in the world, to be honest with you. Excuse my language, but fuck all these fake influencers,
Yeah.
man.
Oh.
It's like, it's ridiculous. And like every time like a new post comes out, you know, it just reminds me how great he actually is, you know, because of how real he is. There's no sugarcoating anything, right? So it's a no bullshit approach. So anyway, shout out Amr, the best coach ever.
Yes, sir.
But you know, what I noticed when I went from like the lifestyle, like you were training, to like, you know, competitive, right? Because I did a little bit of lifestyle with Amber as well. You know, I'm like, Amber, man, like, I need to get out of my own fucking head, and I need to get back to training because mentally I'm not in a good state.
Yeah.
And I need somebody to hold me accountable, and I need somebody to push me, of course, with a structured plan, because there was a lot for me to learn. Because just like you, I never really dieted like that.
Mhm.
You know, back in the day, we both know how to get abs, right? It's just cut out the bullshit food, eat a little less carbs in each meal, do a little cardio, or some sort of like, you know, uh, higher state, higher heart rate, you know, activity,
Yes.
some sort of sports,
And
whatever.
do some core.
And yeah, do some core, and all of a sudden abs are there, right? So, but sustainability, you know, and getting the best look while having those abs, getting the fullness, I never really had it when I was younger, right? Right. So, you know, working with him from lifestyle to like going into the competitive side, it was like, I realized, holy crap, like I gotta get really serious about the layers of this. Cause like even in lifestyle, he gave me like a meal plan, but you know, come on. Like, I was messing around, right? But when it came down to like, hey, you're like 2 months away from a show, I started, you know, realizing that there's only 60 days, right? So like you really gotta dial every detail, right?
Around, yeah.
So, and like you said, everything compounds, right? And then you learn to love it. something that you touched on, and I know how much you hate it because you and I share this, you know,
This
the,
taste.
yeah, yeah, this, how do I say it? Feeling, you know, and obviously feelings don't get you paid, but we
No.
share this feeling of hating cardio. But, you know, that term where you're in right now, you're like learning to love it, right?
Mhm.
I'm a little bit past that point. I've actually truly do love cardio now. And something that I've actually early in this year discussed with Amber was, hey, don't take the cardio away from me. I actually need it. He's like, but we're going to a growth stage, right? Like, and I don't want to push the food. So I need you to stop doing the cardio. And I'm
Mhm.
like, but I need it for my mental state.
Mhm.
And what I noticed is for the first 2-3 weeks, we had the cardio in and he's like, hey, do you mind, you know, getting rid of it? And I was like, all right, cool. You know, we have a goal in mind. Let's get rid of it. And what happened from that was I realized a little bit of a decline in my level of effort everywhere. Why? Because I wasn't doing the thing that I hated most.
Mm.
And then I
Mm.
truly fucking realized I was like, oh, it was like an epiphany state. It was like, man, that's why I love the stairs so much. Is because when I look up, right, especially at LA Fitness, you know, it's got 120 different cardio machines,
Yeah.
pieces of a cardio machine, and maybe like 6 different variations, or
Yeah.
8 different elliptical, this, that, all this crap. The stairs are the hardest,
Yeah.
you know? And I'm like, man, every day, like right now, I'm comfortable. I have a nice sweater on. I have a nice, you know, it's nice comfort here. You
Mhm.
know, I'm gonna go for probably from here to lunch somewhere with the wife. You know, everything's all about comfort. My car, you know, I have heated seats. I'm like, what's the point of this cardio? Like, never mind how I look, never mind the shredded. I'm like, let me get fucking uncomfortable. Let me get like used to it. Because if I bang off this 15, 20, 30 minutes, I went up to an hour and 10 minutes of cardio
Oof. Stairs.
last year. Yeah, you remember, bro. I was up there for
Yeah.
like
Yeah. Yeah.
half my,
Actually,
remember?
you're gone. I'm like, where's this guy?
Yeah,
Oh, there he
an
is.
hour and 10 minutes,
Yeah.
bro. That's the max. It taught me a real big lesson, man. It was like, and if you're obviously intentional and you're present in that moment, like you get the most out of that. Like literally, like the feeling, what you just said is like, you're not really understanding it right now, but it's like when you leave, you feel so accomplished, you feel so good. But in reality, you do so many other things throughout the day, right?
Mm-hmm.
You bring so much more value to, like, you know, your clients, your subordinates, the people that you work with,
Family.
your family.
Yeah.
You bring so much value everywhere, but you don't get that out. The same feeling that you get when you step off the Stairmaster because you enjoy giving that value. You
Mhm.
enjoy going to work and doing your best job, even though it's hard. It's all hard.
Yeah.
It's not
But you
easy
enjoy it.
showing, but you enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like the workout, you're like, I'll crank 3
I'm
plates, no
I'm
problem. I
involved.
enjoy it.
Yeah.
But you know that moment of going up there and doing that cardio and stepping off it, I realized, I think that's the problem. Is like we've been sold this like idea of like, you know, do what you love and find what you love. It's like, no, actually find what you fucking hate doing
And do
and
that.
do a little bit of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because there's something, I'm telling you, it's like a high that I get out of it now. And you know, I told him, I was like, man, like I can't explain it. And he's like, I totally understand. It's you know, it's easy to do things that you want to do.
Mhm. Like basically, you'll never grow if you're not comfortable. If you're always comfortable.
If
Right?
you're always comfortable, right?
Discomfort is, is the what do you call it? The breeding ground of growth.
Success of
Yeah.
growth.
Like
Growth that then turns into success.
obviously,
Yeah.
and I think people run away from that a lot.
Yeah.
I've noticed I was running away from it.
Yeah,
You
100%.
know what I mean?
100%.
Like last week, I think I made a post, right? Literally a week ago when I was at Hammer Fitness.
Yeah.
And did my posting session, and came to the realization that I wasn't ready. It hit like a ton of bricks.
Yeah.
Like and like even though I was already committed to doing the cardio, I just said, you know what, I really gotta dial in, like sink my teeth in. And when I already had the altitude mask,
Yep.
dusted it off. I did 30 minutes that day.
100%.
I did 11 and a half with the mask on. And just that alone was an epiphany for me. Look how bad I wanted it. Look what I put myself through, and
Yeah.
I hated doing even 5 minutes of that shit.
Yeah.
But I put myself through it to the point where I couldn't take it anymore. Took the mask off, and I crushed it for another 20 minutes.
Good. Of
you know?
course.
And I think I wasn't gonna post any of it too, you know. But Danny also said, "It's like, yo, bro, you're not doing this for you, for other people too,
Yeah, you inspire others. Of course
right?"
you do.
And like, I'm not thinking about inspiring people, which is, you know, weird, I guess, in a way because you're posting yourself, right? But like, I'm not doing it thinking I'm inspiring people. You know,
Well, brother, how did we meet, right? Like, I walked up to you and I was like, man, bro, what are you doing? Like, what do you do? Like, right away, it's like a level of like, you inspired me, and I was already doing my thing. I had a coach, I had everything, I have the diet unlock, I have this company meal delivery service that, I have everything, all the tools, and I'm still inspired by people like you. Why? Because again, like the level of effort, consistency, I've seen you many times over. I've seen the level of effort you put behind your workouts. I've seen you lock in, and I'm like, man, like, I can play the victim card and say, oh, he's got genetics, or he's older and he's got more time on me. It's like, or I can just lean in and say, hey, listen, like, what do you do, bro? Like, what is it that drives you? Like, what are you doing? And then what did we do? You're like, hey, why don't you come train with me? I was like, all right. We locked in, and I was like, holy shit. Like, my effort was really low. I was like, that was one missing piece. You know what I mean? And I was like, okay, cool. So you do inspire people, right? Like, even though I was already, I don't even know what stage I was in my prep, but I was in prep all year for the last 3 years, right? So whether it be up or down, I was in prep, and I noticed through you that my effort was way low. Like, yeah, I was eating the right calories. Yeah, I was training daily. Yeah, I was being consistent, but there was a missing piece, which is effort. People forget, just because you freaking do a job doesn't mean you did it well.
Effort and intensity.
Like, exactly. Where's the level of effort, And so, yeah, back to inspiring. Yeah, you do definitely inspire people, and showing people, the downs, and really helps people understand that, it's not just about being up.
The big dogs have bad days.
Oh man, every big dog has the biggest downs, and
not that I'm a big dog, but
no, but you know what it is. It's like people think that successful people have it all good, but they're just facing bigger problems, solving bigger problems, and willing to, raise their threshold,
Yeah, in most cases, you see me in the gym, I'm fighting demons, man. Like,
every day.
I'm battling myself. It's me versus me. Like, I try to leave the gym better than I walked in every single time.
100%.
And like, again, people always see the good parts.
Yeah.
Right. And I figured, like, I was really wrestling with the idea of this postponing, not quitting. I put the word quit in there, not meaning quit, because it's just not me. Like, I'm not a quitter.
Yeah.
People who know me know very well it's just not in me. Right. But postponing it for a year was heavily an option, I was considering.
But postponing doesn't mean you stop.
No.
It means you lock in even harder because you got to get ready for that next year, right?
Yeah.
Like, something that I've battled with as well, I just came to the realization, like, I may have the genetics, right? I have the right look. It's all there in terms of my potential. But I hate that word, and it's funny because Amr actually kind of brought this up to me. It's like, potential is just the work that you haven't done. Like, buddy, a lot of people and everybody has fucking potential, and it's like, but are you willing to live up to that potential, right? And, working with someone like him, it kind of puts me at ease in terms of, my day-to-day stress, in terms of like, how am I good enough? Do I look good enough? Do I this? Do I that? So it's already written in the books, right? Like, I have what it takes. I have the potential. What are you doing with it? Are you doing the damn work or are you not? It's really simple, right? So that's where I kind of am at peace, And Amr wouldn't be working with someone like you if he felt that you didn't have that level of potential. He's not going to put you on a national stage. Like, that's the reason why he told you you're not ready last week, was because he doesn't want to put you on a stage to get nothing out of it. Yeah. There's many regional shows that you would get so much more out of than just hitting the national stage, Yeah. Like, there's so many ways to grow to becoming a pro, because we should probably clarify this. You're trying to get your pro card, your IFBB pro card. And we already spoke about this, you know. Doesn't matter how good you look. There's guys that look great as well. And they've been on that stage for 3 years in second place, in third place. Maybe they're years this year, right?
Yeah.
So coming out there with the expectation of winning is a great mindset. But I think the goal really should be is just to get better at anything and everything. So if you were to be pulled out of this national run, let's just say this year, that means you only have a year plus to get ready for it when you're ready. Because let's just say you look great, and you're not ready for the stage because your posing's not down or your conditioning's not there or whatever it may be, right? What's the point of hitting the stage? Like at that point, it's like, what's the point?
Well, some would say because it's just getting the experience. I've never been before, seeing what it's like, you know, just being present
100%.
in the moment.
Sure.
I can learn from the experience.
But there's many regional shows you can do that with.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I believe, you know, like even myself, I was a little naive, I like to say.
Yeah.
A little hype. And a realization hit me. I was like, man, I am not going to a national stage till I get an overall. And not an overall just at some like little show. Like one of the prominent, better shows in the regional state. Because where am I going? Like what? Because I qualified? Because I got first place in my class, but I couldn't get the overall. I'm going to go to the nationals. You know, I see all these guys, you know, like they're getting second place, they're getting third place, they're getting overall, not even overall, just like they're in the overall, excuse me. That's what I meant to say. They're in the overall and they're going on stage and I'm like to nationals, they're acting like they're there. And I'm like, man, what perception are you taking in? Because that's not the reality. You know, I'm not saying they're not going to get a lot out of hitting the national stage, but I see the placings. They get second call outs, you know, maybe first call out in their class and they're getting like third, fourth place. Man, why even go? You know what I mean? You've already hit the regional stage, right? Yeah. Why not work on getting an overall? Like getting the most out of every stage is what I'm trying to say. You understand? Remember what I talked to you about? And I'm sure now you're definitely lifting different that you're trying to build, right? Amherst showed you. But remember what we spoke about when we first met? I'm like, man, I got inspired by you. I was like, man, your level of effort, the level of, you know, weight you lift and whatnot. And then what happened? I was like, yo, Sean, let me run a workout. And we did that shoulder workout. Yeah. What happened? You couldn't pick up your phone, right? It was speaker all day. And you did less weight than you've ever done, right? So the idea is, I think in life, we're always in a hurry for like the result, right? You have the result put in your mind, but it's like, you know how naive that sounds when you haven't even gone through the stages? You know what I mean? It's like you're thinking about like the, you know, that check when you haven't even built a business. You know, it's like you're thinking about, like you haven't even gone to work. You haven't done, it's like, what are we doing? You know? And unfortunately, you know, social media is kind of, you know, created that perception for people.
A lot of people.
Right?
Unfortunately.
And, you know, again, reality, here's a level of reality, you know? Last year, King Kong show, right? There's this kid online, I don't know his name, fucking Hussein Farhat or some shit like that. Anyways. He's being like called out for a fake natty, whatever. Regardless, let's just say he is natty, full natty. Okay, great. He's full natty. He looks great online, right? He looks amazing. All the kids want to be 2.6 million followers, whatever. Anyways, long story short, he hit the stage. My boy crushed him. Ryan, shout out Ryan. You know, crushed him. So like, you see what I mean? Like,
actually, Josh just mentioned that. As a matter of fact.
See, that's what I'm trying to tell you. Why? Because Ryan was more intentional. He wasn't doing it for anybody else but himself. He really put in the work. His posing for over 2 months. No, it was garbage in the beginning. I was like, oh my God, he looks so great. But when he goes into pose, I'm like, what happened to his good look, right? To the point he got on stage, I was like, holy fuck, man. This guy's posing is amazing. His conditioning is amazing. His posing, I was like, how is he holding it? So easy. Like he's smiling like nothing. And I was like, holy crap. And then you get that guy, you know, that people think, oh, he's going to win everything.
Bag.
Why? because he didn't go through the steps,
He's just too busy posting on social media.
not understanding there's levels to it, right?
Yeah, man.
So I think, you know, what you were saying in the beginning, you know, is like who you're becoming. And I think in life, you know, one thing that I always kind of go back to, it's like if you were to be any superhero, you know, people always choose like Superman, Spider-Man, and all these like, you know, I mean, we don't know if it's fake in the future, but
Right.
current time is fake. But you know what's not fake? What we were just talking about right before. People with skills.
Yeah.
Batman,
Dude, he's my favorite.
right?
Batman.
Why?
No powers.
No powers.
But
All skill.
He'll crush them all.
Yeah,
It's
all
crazy.
skill.
Yeah.
But why? He's got a tool belt of what? Skills, right?
That's it.
This does that, this does that.
And he's
he-
mastered all of them.
He's mastered all of them.
Yeah.
That's what I always resort back to. I'm like, hold on, I want a pro card. Where are the shoulders?
Mm.
Where's the chest? Have I mastered it? Have I mastered my
Utility
back?
belt is in full,
Because when I master them over X amount of time, right? That result will present itself. Like all these, you know, things that I've looked back at, these are just starting points. But if I compare my starting point to where I am, you know, where I was, it's like, oh my God, I'm like light years ahead.
night and day.
Why? Because I put in all the hours. I've learned all those, you know, I gained all those skills. I built
Yeah.
this from ground up, right?
Put in
I
the
went
work.
through the whole process.
Yeah.
And this business always reminds me, you know, on the Run Meals, it always reminds me, it's like the steps really matter, man. It's not about, you know, having the best marketing or having the best this right away and blowing up the company and, you know, making a bunch. It's like, yeah, these are all levels of success that you want to acquire, but it's like when you go through the steps,
Daily grind.
yeah, when you go through the steps and you build it out one by
All
one,
the minutia.
oh my God, it's like I have this level of understanding of the whole industry that I believe very few do in my industry. Like I'm not talking down on other owners of the industry. They're very skillful in their avenue.
Yeah.
I just understand it on a whole level.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Because I've gone through every step.
Mm.
You know,
Like-
literally every step.
Like Batman, he had to train and everything. These guys woke up with their powers, right?
Just woke up,
Batman had to train.
had to
and
train.
everything, right?
Exactly,
He
right?
became that, right?
Yeah. So I'm gonna reach over. I'm gonna grab some questions that we can go through.
Yeah.
Let's see what we get here. I have a bunch, but I keep it very spontaneous and, you know, catch us off guard. So
Cool.
let's see what the first question is. Oh, this one's good. Have you ever had to unlearn something that you thought was right?
Well, being specific is pretty hard because I'm a pretty like I don't like to think I know everything. You know, I'm very, you know, open to learning. You know, they say a man who knows something knows he knows nothing at all,
Mhm.
right? So like I don't abandon everything that I know, but I'm always open to something new. So I can't pinpoint anything specific right now off the top of my head. Okay, well, for this competition specifically, doing core, right? I've learned I got to stop doing core.
Yeah.
I was like, what? He's like, yeah, your abs are too out there. You mean too out there? Isn't that the point? Like, no, you have a certain look.
Yeah.
So I had to stop doing core for a year.
Yeah.
You know?
Remember when I talked to you about that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like something like that was new to me. I mean, wasn't really much of a change in terms of me having to unlearn stuff. A lot of it is within the wheelhouse of what I'm already doing now.
Yep.
There's certain things in terms of my conditioning and stuff like that I'm learning. I never really did conditioning before, so I guess unlearning.
You were
that bad
conditioning.
habit
You were conditioning your own way, but not the way that.
is recommended now.
Yeah.
All right, I was doing it my own way, like
For your goals for that
yes,
time.
Yes.
But these goals now demand a certain level of threshold for
That
stress.
was not
Yeah,
ready
you
for.
didn't have 100%.
Yeah. So I guess I had to unlearn my own way of doing things, if that makes sense.
Yeah, of course.
I have a totally new way, the hammer way.
Yep.
Which I am, totally grateful for. I'm in it full throttle. Yeah, but I guess unlearning the way I did things and doing things someone else's way.
Yeah.
you know, and it wasn't difficult because I trust Hammer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he's well known in the industry. He's accolades upon accolades.
100%.
I met him in 2016 unofficially. You know, like I seen him at another gym doing his thing. I was like, yo, this guy's serious.
Yeah.
Seen his Twitter and his Insta. I'm like, yo, this guy's next level. You know, and
Yeah,
then
he's always been.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then when you introduced me to him, I was like, yeah, I know who he is.
Yeah.
And then when he said yes to me, I'm like, he said yes to me. You know, I was just like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. Yeah. He's definitely, he's, you know, I've had chats with him, right? And he doesn't want just anybody. You know what I mean? Like, I always talk to him. I'm like, man, let me just sell for you.
yeah,
Like, I'm bringing 1 million people. It's fucking easy to sell you. And he's like, no. He's like, you know, there's stages to this,
Mhm.
and it can be somebody with zero skill, zero everything, but their level of like effort and their want
Mhm.
is so high that he's willing to then teach,
yeah,
because his knowledge and how he gets his knowledge across is so efficient
yeah,
that he doesn't have time, because he's worked on it so much over the years,
yeah,
right? Getting that, you know, information across in the most efficient, best way
yeah,
when speaking to all these different types of personalities and people, that he just doesn't have time for people that can't meet him halfway.
right,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he always says, he's like, you know, he tells me this too. He's like, you may think I'm the best coach out there, but I may not be the best for the masses, because they may not be able to speak to me, because there's no cut bullshit approach.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Very subtle, very like, you see his check-ins, right?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, bro, they're like 4 words, 6 words. And I'm
Yeah.
like,
I like this, don't like this, do this.
Yeah.
This. No, okay, do this.
yeah, how was this? And I was like, how's this? I'm like, why'd you ask me that? I'm like, you just said I'm good. Well, why'd you ask me that dumb question? But it's like, and he doesn't like, he asks right to the point. And I'm like, and then I'll respond. And I'm like, fuck, do I need to like tighten this response up? I'm like, you know what? Let me explain myself. And then out of the whole explanation, he'll just know, obviously, where my real mindset is and everything, right?
Yep.
And then he'll ask another question that solidifies his first question, whether I was telling the truth or not. And I was like, fuck, because he caught me straight up in like a white lie,
Mm.
right? And I was like, you know what? Never again. I'm like, I'm just going to expose myself all the time.
Yeah.
Truth be told. Why? Because he just, that's where he is. He just he just knows, right? Like you can try to lie, but the body doesn't lie. Like his check-ins don't lie, right? So it's like,
Funny thing is, I learned that from you, because when you told me the exact same story, I'm like, yo, I can't lie to this guy.
just like if you had that extra cheat, like this week, I had an extra cheat meal. I had a Sunday cheat meal,
Yeah.
and then I had the team meeting. I took out the team for our 10-year anniversary
Yeah.
and whatnot, and we went for a dinner. And I was like, oh, like there's no nut like that Thai roti. Give me an order. Give me an order. Oh, KFC, they call it. I don't know, some cauliflower fried something. I was like, give me that. Pad Thai with like beef. I was like, give me that. I know there's a bunch of. I didn't care.
Yeah.
But then when I checked in and he asked me that question, I was like, holy shit. I should have probably cared, because that was my second cheat meal. But at the end of the day, it was a team. You know, it was an anomaly, right? It was a one-off, right? But nevertheless, it's like, I'm not gonna lie to him.
Can't.
Because even if I do look good and the check-in's 10 times better, I still gotta tell him that, hey, I had 2 cheat meals. Imagine imagine I only had 1, how much better I'd look. Just because I look good doesn't mean I couldn't look.
Better. Facts.
And, you know, that's what I love about this whole process.
Mm.
You know, it's like you're very vulnerable at all times. You're, you know, it's like, it's weird. I always thought, and I spoke to this with my wife, you know, I was like, I always thought that I cared what Amber thought about my check-in. So I'm like, oh, I don't want to eat this. I want to be tight on this. It's not that. It's like, it's more, it's a little bit more than that. It's a little bit broader than that. I think it's because he holds himself to the highest level of respect, and how he does it, and, you know, the level of work and hours that he's put into so many other athletes. And now he's going to put all that knowledge into me. I'm going to go fuck around and lie to him.
Disrespect.
Right? So it's not even that I'm trying to impress or I'm trying to gain his how do I say it? Respect. It's the fact that he holds himself to the highest level of respect that I, working with him, naturally have to raise my level of self-respect, you know? And
that, yeah.
that's where, you know, the cheating has gone out the door in terms of dieting, the cheating in terms of effort in the gym has gone out the door. Why? Because I'm like, well, what's the point of working with him?
How bad do you want it?
Yeah. How bad do I want it? And number one, and number two, what's the point of working with him? Someone like him. If I want a coach to just tell me, yo, you're doing good and whatnot, I can go and find that.
Hire me.
Yeah, I can hire. No, but hold on. I will get results. I'll be great. I'll look great. But I won't achieve my goal.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We have the same goal. I would love to acquire an IFBB Pro card one day.
Yeah,
Pro card, excuse me, one day. So, you know, it's like, because I know he has the right blueprint for me, as he has for everybody that follows the friggin' plan and puts out 100% effort, I, you know, just like this business, I'm not just going to show up and steal from this business, you know, my business. I'm not going to just show up and just continuously lie to my employees. For what? If it's bad times, I'm going to be honest, you know? And it's like, I learned once you become honest, and you're true with yourself, you know, when you look in the mirror, a lot of people feel like shit. Look, it's because you're, excuse my language, because you're a piece of shit.
Yeah.
You know, I look in the mirror and I say, man, you did a shitty thing today. Don't do that tomorrow. Or maybe go say sorry or do something different about it. You know what I mean? Like, but I acknowledge it, you know, I'm not going to hide from it, you know? So
most people won't acknowledge it. And I think that's where the problem lies, right? No one likes to acknowledge their bullshit.
Exactly.
You know, and I think a lot of it could be translated into the gym, right? Like,
exactly.
hold yourself accountable for that shit that you want so bad.
Exactly. And the gym too, like, you know, it's a very vulnerable place too. You know, you think you're the biggest guy. Yeah, when you're at home. When you come to the gym, there's always a bigger guy, there's always a stronger guy, there's always a leaner guy, there's always. It doesn't matter what state you're at. You know what I mean? There's always somebody better, right? So it's like, it pushes you to be better. But let's grab another one, see, and go through a bunch of them really quickly.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey guys, life's too short to be wasting countless hours on cooking, or even worse, to be cutting corners on what you eat. Here at OTR Meals, we cook chef-inspired meals with clean, hand-picked ingredients, gluten-free and dairy-free options, and never frozen meals. You get to focus on what really matters in life while we take care of the food. Want to try it out? Go to otrmeals.com and use promo code podcast20 for your 20% off your first order. And if you're serious about your fitness goals, check out our protein-only options and use promo code MEAT20 and get yourself 20% off your first high-quality protein order. Hurry up and head to otrmeals.com and let us fuel your life the right way.
Does social media help or hurt people's fitness journeys?
It's a 50-50.
50-50.
I believe, right? Because there's the ones out there who are just straight up delusional, thinking they can just follow some guy on Instagram and be jacked. And then there's some who look to it for inspiration, right? Like I was saying earlier, right? I didn't think I was inspiring anybody, but apparently I am. I got some DMs from random people, you know?
Yeah.
It's pretty encouraging, you know? So it's just like, I think it's 50-50. I think it's like a weapon, you know? Who's holding it and what are you doing with it?
100%.
Is it to defend or is it to offend?
100%.
You know? I just think, yeah, it's just 50-50.
I think the problem with social media is it's all perception, and there's very, very little reality. And even within that reality, there's a level of perception.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the problem on social media, you know? And I think if you have the mindset of, I want to learn and I want to educate myself, it's a great tool. There's so much content out there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when I was growing up, I had to go up to the biggest guy and say, hey, how do I get big?
Yeah.
I don't have to go up to nobody anymore. Just
Scroll
all day. I can.
Still, I guess it's hard to trust, in my opinion.
No, hold on. And then there's the contrary to that, which is like, are they giving you the right information? Which is a very big aspect of it. So, yes, I think for me, it's like more like, 80 negative, 20 positive, because it's hard to find the positive in that negative because you have to filter through all that negativity just to find that one positive. So, again, nothing against a lot of these coaches in the industry, but that's the reason, or that's the thing that separates Hammer from these guys. It's like he cuts all the bullshit out, he cuts everything out, and it's right down to the point. There's no perception, there's no social media, there's no nothing. It's just
brass tacks.
it's just
facts.
just facts.
Yeah,
It's like you like it or you don't,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
What's your personal non-negotiable when it comes to health?
Personal non-negotiable when it comes to health.
Yeah. Health, not fitness, but health.
Good food,
Wholesome food.
wholesome food. I'm not the cleanest eater when I wasn't in prep, or I'm not gonna lie, but I did make sure to prioritize healthy eating. I wasn't just stuffing my face with BS fast food all day. Would I indulge? 100%.
Yeah.
But I think taking care of your health in terms of what you put in your mouth, into your body, is key. I supplement, not with too much because I don't believe in lots of pills and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
But I do make sure that I prioritize what I put in my body first thing and foremost because that's what I am using to achieve, and I mean, you only get one of these, man,
Yeah.
so
100%.
100% a good clean diet over everything. I think people run to pills and supplements because they're not eating the right foods to get all the things that they need out of it. So I think it's as simple as that, right? The simple fact is eat clean, eat proper. Not saying you can't eat, cookies and chips and whatever.
Yeah.
Just, in moderation, have discipline and that type of stuff. And I think you'll be fine.
100%. Yeah. I think when it comes to non-negotiables and health, like, I think it's like extreme, getting into an extreme of any sort. I think that's my like non-negotiable. It's like always being open-minded because the problem is a lot of research has been done today up until today, but who's to say that there won't be new research tomorrow that contradicts today's? So I think for me, I do what's right for myself. Yes, I eat healthy, I eat wholesome. I stay away from, a lot of the crap out there, and I keep my diet very simple, which is a really big thing for me. But when it comes down to it, I'm not going to probably be eating the way I am today for the rest of my life. So my whole thing is like, I'm for my health, I'm always not looking for a better solution because if something is working for me, it's working for me. It's making me feel great. It's energizing me. I'm building muscle. It's feeding my goals, feeding my life. But if it's not, and it's contradicting what I'm trying to achieve, right? Then I make a change.
Yeah.
So let's see. What's one injury or setback that changed your approach to training?
I had a pinched, actually 2 injuries. I had a pinched supraspinatus that ran all the way down to numbing my last 2 fingers on my left arm. And dude, it forced me to stop lifting heavy, right? Because I couldn't. So I'm a fan of 225, right?
Yeah.
Pushing 315 was a high, So after the pinch, I thought it was okay. I tried to push 225. I got 3 reps, and I rest pause 12. So when I got 3 reps and I was struggling for a 4th, I was just like, whoa, like it's a shot, right? Dialing it back allowed me to focus on things I wasn't focused on before. Tightening the form, really getting maximum contraction out of every rep, stuff like that. Slowing it down, creating new tempo, rest pausing, stuff like that, right? So it's just like it forced me to really tighten up other aspects of my lift. I also got an injury top of my hip here, and that ran down to the last 2 toes. Numb those 2 toes.
Oh man,
right?
Yeah.
And that lasted about maybe 8 months, man, almost an entire year, right? I was a friend of mine came back from the military. We were sitting there just telling me stories about the shenanigans they got on base, you know. And I was sitting out just watching him show me videos for like 6 minutes. I got cold, went back, third rep in, I heard a pop. I thought everybody around me heard it. I had the headphones on.
Yeah.
Pop. Did you hear that? He's like, hear what? I'm like, you didn't hear that? He's like, no. I'm like, holy shit. Right. It felt like someone, you know, the hose that you use to pump air in your tire.
Yes. Like,
Someone went
yeah.
right through my hams.
Oh,
like,
man.
What the hell was that? I was able to walk and stand and whatever, but then when I went to push again, it was a wrap.
Yeah.
So I couldn't do my arms. I couldn't do my legs. So everything had to bring everything back down to basics and focus on form, you know,
Yeah.
and it just changed the way I trained.
Good.
You know?
I mean, could have been a lesson probably in disguise, right?
Yeah. 100%.
Maybe slow down with all the heavy lifting.
I haven't gone back to 16 plates since.
I mean,
no.
there's no reason.
No, I mean, okay. The reason why
Yeah,
I did it,
yeah.
that wasn't an ego lift,
Yeah.
right? Because I'm actually able to fully get a full range of motion
Yeah.
for 8 to 10 reps out of that. If I was only doing 2 or 3, what's the point? In my opinion, you can still get hypertrophy
Yes.
of something heavy, but like you don't need 16 plates.
No, 100%. I think even if you are able to do it, it's like, do we need to? Like, isn't life all about less is more? You know, like in terms of, okay, if you want your body to be efficient, you technically want to eat less. So it doesn't have to continue to burn, right? You just teach it how to eat less, and then
And
you just
utilize what it's got.
exactly.
Yeah.
You know, I always go back to like, you know, the analogy of like Amazon, you know, do you want to be an Amazon employee that works 12 hours, 6 days a
his
week,
factory?
if not 7, 6 days a week, 7 days a week, 12 hours days, getting paid $18 an hour? Or do you want to be an executive that works 6 days a week, 3 hours a day, you know, and I get paid millions of dollars? Like last time I checked, I'd love to be an executive that gets paid millions of dollars for
Less
hours.
time.
Yeah. So the idea, like, I think they figured something out, right? They didn't go from trying to work the hardest backwards. It's not like they're like, okay, I'm going to start at the bottom. They're like, hold on, how do I do it the most efficient? How do I get the most out of it? How do I bring the most value? You know, so it's like, same thing with weightlifting. It's like, how do I just get the most out of 2 plates before I even put on 3 or 4 or 5 or 6? You know what I mean? Like, there's ways, slow it down, you know, whatever. There's ways,
Yeah.
you know, different ways of getting more out of something,
100%.
right?
I haven't gone back to 2. I haven't gone past 2 plates. I can push 275, no issues.
Mhm.
But I get more of just sticking with 2 plates right now. Right.
Yeah.
When I do leg press, I don't go above. Like I do single leg
Yeah.
with 3 plates aside.
Yeah.
Maybe 4 plates aside. I don't
Yeah.
go too heavy, man.
Good, man.
You know.
I mean, I've learned that from my business as well. It's like, you know, we have waste in food. And it's like, how do you utilize this whole thing? And not just utilize just putting it in somewhere, because then you're not getting the most out of it, right?
Mhm.
Again, the mindset is to get the most out of it.
Yeah.
So, you know, with peppers, perfect example. It's like, hey, I need to cut the top and I need to cut the bottom in order for me to use this pepper. But the tops and the bottoms don't look as nice as the whole pepper does. But we can take the top and bottom and run it through one of our piece of equipment that we have that does small dice. How would you know where the small dice came from? It's small dice. You see what I mean? So I'm getting the most out of all of it,
Everything. No
right?
waste.
Rather than saying, okay, cool, I'm gonna do julienne with, you know, this, and then I'm gonna use the ends as julienne too, and it's like, it doesn't look the same.
Yeah.
You know, it kind of looks weird now.
Yeah.
Because they're not straight, they're not perfect, you know, as perfect as,
It's
you
not
know.
symmetrical.
Exactly. So you're not getting technically the most. Yeah, you're utilizing it all, but you're not getting the most out of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, look at the Michelin star restaurants. They put like 3 things on your friggin' plate, but they make the most out of those 3 things.
Presentation too.
Presentation, they make the best, obviously, but it's also like the flavor that they put in. Like one little piece of asparagus has like 16 flavors, right?
That's insane.
And you're like, whoa, I didn't know asparagus could taste like this.
Yeah.
But it's because they're getting the most out of it. And what are they doing? Charging you the most for it when using only one piece of asparagus.
Insane.
But that's the analogy. It's
Yeah.
like, because they're so good at getting the most out of so little that you're willing to pay so much for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? So it's like, you know,
You don't have to lift that heavy to get the results that you're desiring.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Got another question. Do you think discipline is more important than motivation?
100%. Motivation's temporary, man. Like people seek motivation. Discipline, you either sink your teeth into it or you just fluff off. Like this discipline is not something that you can look for. It's within you. You gotta definitely just you know do what it takes. Like again, getting comfortable with discomfort. Right? I hate the steps. I hate the stairs, but I'm doing it because I'm disciplined and getting the result. Like it's the motivation will wear off, man. Like, you know,
100%.
discipline is where it's at. Like,
I think with discipline, it's obviously more important, right? Because it's lasting. It's creating habits, right? And being disciplined within them. I think the problem is a lot of people talk bad about motivation. You know, recently I've had an epiphany. And I said, no, fuck that. I love motivation. Sure. They're two different things when we're talking about discipline and motivation. It's like talking about gasoline in your car or oil. Oil is for the engine to run. It's discipline, the engine to run. But like sometimes we need a level of motivation, right? Like to keep running faster. So like I think the problem is when we're dwelling and playing the victim mindset and looking for motivation, that's the problem.
okay.
But if you're on a roll, let's just say, and you're making like you're how do I say it? You're accomplishing these little goals that's leading you towards, that result that you're after, right? I think, in those moments of like, oh my God, I'm getting better and whatnot, why not find motivation from that, right? Why not run with that motivation and fuel that level of discipline?
Here's my question.
Yeah.
Is that motivation or is that inspiration?
You know what? It could be both. Because hear me out. That's a really good question, actually, because yes, you're right. I get inspired to be better because of the fact that I saw results from last week to this week. Okay. So I'm going to be better at my workouts this week. Okay, great. And yes, I'm inspired to get better. But at the same time, I think motivation's still there because it's weird, but yeah, I'm just going to be very, very raw right now. It's like someone like myself, I really, truly, excuse my language, don't give a fuck about what people think about me. On a raw level, on a real level, right? Like when we talk, I really don't care. But there's a huge part of me subconsciously, and by huge, I don't mean I don't listen to it, but subconsciously, I do care.
Okay.
Right? And there's a level of like, like for today, example, right? I posted a post and I'm showcasing my look this week, right? I got leaner. I'm still eating the same amount of food because people are like, oh my God, how many calories are you eating? Like 2,000? I'm like, no, man, 3,600. What are you guys talking about, right? Yeah. And the truth is, and I put out a message there saying like, I don't have any competition in mind. I'm just doing it for myself to better myself, which is true. That's what I do every day with everything I do. I try to better myself. And a huge part of that post is to inspire people and show people like, man, like, you guys keep looking at me as if I'm like some like special person, but like I just do the regular thing every day, right?
It work, man.
So I post these little results. But when people like it, there's a level of me subconsciously inside of me. The raw level of me, I don't care. I know this consciously. If you ask me, do you care about those? I don't. I straight up, I don't. And I've learned over the last like 10 years when I'm building this business, even a good compliment can be negative because then I'm going to look for that, what? Compliment, which is what? Motivation. And I'm like, no, man. Sometimes people won't be there to support you or like you. So consciously, I know not to care for it. I actually don't care for it. But subconsciously, it makes me feel nice.
Of course.
It's like, whoa, this person likes my photo and they don't normally like my photo.
Validation.
Right? It's a level of validation. So yes, I'm looking to inspire myself, and it is inspiration, but it is a level of motivation. And you know what? When I get those likes and somebody else likes it that doesn't normally like my photo, fuck, man, trust me, I'm trying to be. Next week I'm gonna try to have a better look. It's pushing me. Now, when I wake up in the morning and I'm sore as shit, and my girl's still sleeping, and my cats are still sleeping, which normally are, my alarm clock. They're normally waking me up, right?
My boys.
Your boys, right? And they wake, and I'm awake, and I'm like, what? I'm supposed to go do cardio right now? I'm supposed to go do what? Make my breakfast?
Yeah.
That I'm not even really hungry for right now. Like what? That's when discipline.
Yep.
That like, it's like, buddy, like who cares? Like, remember how you don't care about those likes? Well, nobody cares about your feelings either, and you shouldn't either in this moment.
Just get it done.
Just get it done.
Yeah, dude. Like, so the biggest hurdle for me in the beginning of this was the meal prep.
Yep.
And I was supposed to come to you, to hook that up, but then I didn't think you'd be able to facilitate what he was, you know what I mean? But I also, for myself, because I've never done this for myself, I cook, but I never cooked the way I'm cooking now.
No.
Every other fucking day.
Yeah.
I'm cooking, for 2-3 days.
Yep.
It only lasts 2 days. The third day, half day, cooking again.
Yep.
And like the discipline that takes, jeez.
Of course.
Right. And again, like, what are you doing this for?
Well, think about it. Like, it's just as important getting your meals in and skipping a meal. Like, if you skip a meal, you might as well just cheat,
Right.
because that's cheating.
Yes.
If you skip a meal, it's just as bad as having a
Right.
cheat meal.
Right.
People think that skipping meals, or it's like, oh, at least I didn't cheat last night. It's like, no, that's just as bad.
You're not following the plan.
Yeah. What are you talking about?
On or off. That's
Yeah.
not the plan.
Yeah.
Right.
It's really simple.
Yeah, it's a cheat whether you liked the result from that cheat or not.
Yeah, exactly.
You need to eat something sweet.
Yes.
You lacked a meal. It's
Yeah.
still not according to the plan. So I feel like shit when that happens. I've been honest about it. I give myself a 3 out of 5, a 4 out of 5 when he's asked
Yeah.
about my adherence. But yeah, like the discipline in going to the grocery store when I'm pushed, like my day is done. I've been up since 3:45. My last client was at 7:00. I gotta go get groceries because guess what? I gotta cook so I can eat tomorrow. Discipline.
Discipline.
I could have just easily gone to Hortons, grab me some eggs and some
Whatever.
stop biscuits and fuck off,
Yeah.
But like again, who I'm becoming through this competition or the prep, it's opened my eyes to what I'm capable of,
100%.
and what I've been comfortable with and what I'm willing to change in terms of my discomfort,
Yeah, the 2023 prep for me really, really I got a lot of great compliments with my body changing and all that, and a lot of my habits changed. Yes, definitely. But it really set me up for something that I didn't even know looking back. But 2024 was it was a transitioning period of Underarm meals, and there was a lot of change that needed to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And, Underarm meals obviously is always trying to live up to its potential. And unfortunately, at that time, it was lacking. So a million changes happened in 2024 that probably wouldn't have happened if I didn't go and make all those changes for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And, you're talking about the diet with Amber, and it's like, when I first started working with him in lifestyles, he's like, because I thought he's going to, I'm working with him, I check in and, I'll go train with him every so often and whatnot, and learn how to train and stuff. And I'm like, and I have a meal delivery service. So I thought he would be like, okay, get this meal and that meal. And he's like, 150 grams of this. And I was like, buddy, what are you talking about? I was like, what the hell are you talking about? 150 grams of what, man?
Yeah.
Tell me what meal. He's like, what are you talking about? He's like, just follow the plan. And I was like, so I can't eat my meal? He's like, follow the plan. I was like, hold on, wait a minute, right?
Yeah.
But then, a year later, with everything that we changed, right, from the website development to the way we operate in there, we streamlined all of our systems. They all now work with one another. It's the same thing with the prep. It's the level of discipline that you put behind it and effort you put behind your prep on every aspect. That's what's gonna bring the best look, the best result. Some guys are really good at dieting and they become in really conditioned, but they didn't really train, so they're flat.
Yeah.
Some guys come in and fucking pumped as shit, but they're fat.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, yo, dude, you couldn't lose more weight,
Yeah.
And then obviously the guys that win, they probably dialed every single thing together.
Yeah.
Synchronized Batman, right? They synchronized all those great habits into one result, which is the winning result, right? And that's what creates wins is like, you know, being very disciplined with a high level of effort behind every habit
Yeah.
that you
Be
carry
very
out.
intentional of what you're doing.
Exactly. Intentional is very,
Yeah.
very important. Yeah. What's the biggest challenge of running a fitness business?
I think a lot would agree is just keeping the customers coming in, you know. I think once you get them in, retention is important. You know, I think retention might be one of the key aspects of running a fitness business. You know, making sure your clients are happy. You know, making sure that they're achieving their goals, making sure you hold them accountable. You make sure that they hold themselves accountable too. You know, but I think one of the hardest things is being able to meet your client's demands and show up for them, and then retain that client through their entire journey. You know, I think a lot of people fall short of that for whatever reasons. You know, but I try my best to maintain a high client retention. I check in with them all the time to make sure that that they're happy with their results. You know, I ask for suggestions if what they like, what they don't like, what they want to change, stuff like that. I think just being in tune with each and every client is key and challenging as well. But I think that's like a really major factor.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine. Definitely. Retention is definitely up there, right? Because it's like a double-edged sword. One, if they don't get results, well, you're not going to get any referrals,
Right.
which means no new business. Number two, if you give them all the results, yeah, you'll get more business, but you lose that business because they got the result and they think they know it all.
Yeah.
And then this is the third aspect, what I believe challenging when it comes to fitness businesses. The level of like information out there and the
Mhm.
amount of people that are, coaches is just like, oh my God, I've personally taught people how to use a machine
Mm.
at LA Fitness that is a coach. And I'm like, what the hell who are you coaching, buddy? And girls too, like two girls, I'm like, who are you coaching?
Mhm.
What are you talking about? Because you went online and got a certificate that you used ChatGPT to pass. Like, what are we talking about here? This is like, so, the thing that I think will separate people moving forward is just the main thing, right? It always comes down to it. There's all this fluff, right? Like even with my meals, right? On the running meals, it's like we have great branding, we have great packaging, great bags, great emails, great everything around, great customer service, great everything. All that's great. But the bottom line is like, is the fucking food good or not?
How's the
Like,
food?
is the food good or not? So I think when the fitness industry, it's like, are you getting results or are you not?
Yeah.
Like, never mind what if, ands, or buts. It doesn't matter what content you're putting out there. It doesn't matter how good you look. It doesn't matter if anyone online knows you. Like, are you getting results for your clients that you are training in person? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And of course, if they're online clients, are you getting results for them as well?
Yeah.
It's like, I think that's what it really boils down to. And I think we just kind of worry about everything else. You know what I mean? And I think that's the challenge.
Yeah.
I think it's like getting rid of all the noise
Yeah.
and just focusing on what's actually important.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Clients' results. Bottom line, bro.
Because I always say, with our business, it's like, yeah, they buy into the service. They buy on the run meals because it's a service, right? Many people sell food, but the way we sell food is that's the service that we offer. But the bottom line is, if the product isn't good, like they're paying for the service because they can buy food anywhere.
Yes.
They're paying for the service, but they're consuming the product.
Mm-hmm.
So if the product is not good, why would they pay
Don't
for
pay
the
for
service?
Yeah.
Right? So that's kind of what it boils down to, I think, when fitness brands too. It's like, are the results there or not?
Yeah.
Right? What am I paying for?
Exactly.
Not for you to
100%.
be my friend.
Yeah.
That's why I like Amber. There's no friendship. When it comes to check-ins, my check-ins and my text messages with them
Two
are,
different things. Yeah, I'm sure.
No.
Night and day.
they're like two different people, two different things, and as they should be. Why? Because what are we mixing?
It's business and pleasure.
Yeah, like what are we mixing?
Yeah.
There's Gallon, the comfort state of mind Gallon, You know, like obviously I'm not comfortable. I live a very uncomfortable lifestyle because I keep my lifestyle uncomfortable. But for the time that I am comfortable, like, is that going to give me that mindset going to give me my fucking result? No. So when I'm speaking to him and he tells me something that's, you know, something I'm doing wrong, or he's, you know, criticized something or whatnot, like, what am I going to sit back and get comfortable with? No, it's like address it and be real, you know, like,
Yeah.
we're talking about business here. Like,
Yeah.
what am I paying for?
Yeah.
To be my friend?
You got to be real
Like,
about it.
I'm not paying him to be my friend. He's my friend because he's my friend.
Right.
I'm paying him for fucking results, right?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
the level of accountability, right? And the
Yeah.
realness, right? It's like the rest is whatever. Like, he has a nice gym, nice equipment. I don't give a fuck.
Mm.
You don't give me results. I don't care how nice your fucking gym is. You know how many people have nice gyms?
You have a nice car. Can you drive it?
Yeah.
You know?
Let's see. Oh, how do you stay on track when you're out or traveling?
Well, I haven't traveled in a long time.
Yeah,
So,
fair enough. So let's put
Right.
that aside. But like, say when you're on road, when you don't have the meal ready, like, what is like,
I
You-
panic.
you panic a little bit, okay?
I try to find the best substitute I can possibly find to fill that gap, which isn't always the best. But I figure getting a meal in is better than not getting a meal in at all.
Yep.
Right? I got a goal to hit, you know? So, I mean, I just try to find the best substitute I can possibly find that will fill the gap that I'm looking to fill.
100%.
You know, I try not to overcomplicate it and then get all down about it and depressed.
No, because that could also affect your look as well.
Right. The mental,
Yeah.
listen, people don't understand. It's just as much mental as it is physical.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Just as much,
Trust me, I know.
you know? And I want people to get that, you know? And because I wouldn't be able to get up every morning and go to the gym if my mind wasn't at that point as well.
100%.
Right. And as much as I hate it, I would love this, especially wintertime, bro. When you wake up, remove them blankets, it's chilly, and I want to stay under those,
Oh, me
you know,
too. Trust me.
the warmth and the comfort.
Yeah.
I know if I do that, I'm gonna get all fluffy and soft, and I'm never gonna be who I am right now,
Yeah.
you know, and who I want to be, you know.
Yeah, I know 100% on that, man. It's yeah. For me, I mean, on road, traveling, I'm blessed, you know, seal up some of my protein, seal up some of my meals. You know, every time I've gone down to Miami, you know, I bring food for my buddy that I stay with.
That's
You know, and he's like, oh, what restaurants are this or that? And I'm like, yeah, figure out the restaurant at nighttime, but like, you know what it is during the day.
Yeah,
like,
we're
I
eating
have
this,
a
bro.
program to fulfill.
Yeah.
I'm like, when are we going to the gym? Like, I know you got work, and I got a little bit of work I got to do, but like, you know, I'm planning on going to the gym at 2:00. Do you want to come with me? But like, help yourself to my protein. I brought, 3 pounds of this, 2 pounds of this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, but just like you, there's days where, actually, there was a week where I didn't even place my order, and I don't know how that happened. I don't know. The wife normally reminds me, but it, I guess, didn't remind me that day. And long story short, in those times, there are solutions out there, and we don't need to panic about it, right? Like, yes, you're not gonna get the lean as you can. Yeah, and little oil, as little as possible. But there's places where you can get a chicken skewer, get 2 chicken skewers, get some rice,
Yeah.
and if you're really in a bind and you're really like feeling guilty about getting that rice because they put oil in it after the fact, okay, cool. Get those pieces of chicken, shove those down, or steak or something.
I found the best solution. Loblaws, or the Loblaws. They or the Superstore. They
Sure.
have their open kitchen. They have the cold and they have the hot. I grabbed 200 grams of chicken breast,
Yeah,
100 grams, 180 grams of or 100 grams of broccoli,
yeah,
180 grams of sweet potato,
100%.
and there's my meal.
Yeah, that's a solution, right? Like, there's always a solution, right? It's like, again, level of discipline and effort behind that solution
Yeah.
will determine the result that you're gonna get,
100%.
right? So, for me, it's like, I just not even forget. I just don't have time certain days that, like, I'll finish my workout and everything by like 10 a.m. I'll eat my second meal by 11. And then somehow I haven't eaten my third and my fourth meal, and it's like 7 p.m. And I'm like, what the hell happened? Now I got to eat 2 meals by time. And I'm like, when am I going to sleep? And I'm like, I have to sleep on a full belly, which is not good.
I've done like 3-4 times already since I've been on this prep, bro.
I know.
It's just to get it in.
I know. But the thing is like, getting it in is much It's getting you closer to getting to your goal than not getting it in.
100%. That's
So-
why I was like, even though I'm eating, what was it, ground beef, mashed potatoes, and I'm chugging my 70 grams of whey protein with that meal.
Yeah.
That's my 4 and 5, right?
Yeah.
Literally right before bed.
But it is
That's
what
what
it
it's
is. It's either you got it in or you didn't, right?
Right. So I don't feel too bad. I got my 5 meals in.
What's the hardest lesson, or excuse me, hardest fitness, or excuse me. What's the hardest lesson fitness taught you about yourself?
It exposed weakness in certain areas, and it's not even a physical thing. You know, it was more things I had to come to grips with myself mentally through doing something
Fitness.
physical.
100%.
Learned a lot about, things that I would run from, things I'd run to, and then ask myself why. I used to hate doing core. I used to run from that. It's like just being a runner
Yep.
was something that I developed as a coping mechanism growing up. Avoiding confrontation, because getting a little personal. Like, I'm not gonna get into details, but
Yeah.
like, I'm a very mild mannered,
Yeah.
passive kind of person, but I can
Turn on.
there's, brother,
Yeah.
like a dark side.
Yeah.
You know,
And you
And
don't want to bring that
ever.
guy out.
ever, right?
Yeah.
So I avoid confrontation a lot. People think I'm just being pussy. Literally, I'm trying to save your life and mine,
Yeah. It's a lose-lose situation.
right?
Yeah.
But it's like, through fitness, I've learned, okay, this is something that you struggle with. How can I fix that? In this world that I'm in right now, how can I use this environment to strengthen this part of whatever it is that that needs work? And fitness has done a lot. It's helped me become a better person all the way around, man. And I've implemented that mindset into my life, incrementally, right? You and I spoke about things I've been going through personally.
Yeah.
And you know a lot
Yeah.
behind the scenes, so you can see, and I'll be able to, identify with certain things with people who know,
Yeah.
and they'll be able to see, wow, I've had people like, yo, bro, I can't believe you're here and this is where you're at, like, and the work that it took, no one sees, right?
Of course, nobody knows, nobody
fitness-
sees, nobody, nobody really knows what people are truly going through, right?
Yeah.
Even the successful people, you think it's all happy and
They
dandy.
wake up
but-
like this.
yeah, like they probably have so many nightmares, so much stress, so
Sleepless
much,
nights. Yeah.
like, because I've been through like the ups and downs, and right now, my life's a lot more stable, and I've created stability, and I've created like consistency and whatnot. But there are these spikes of ups and downs, right? We all go through them, and I realize like I kind of do better in the downs
Mhm.
because I'm like, I'm already here. What else could happen, right?
Right.
Where like when you're on the up, I have this like level of like anticipation anxiety, kind of like it's just something weird, like a weary feeling. I feel like bad is just around the corner.
You're just waiting
And-
for other shoe to drop.
Yeah, like it's not like because I did bad to get the good result. It's that, and I feel guilty or something. It's like more, am I being grateful enough for it? Am I
Mm.
being present enough?
Yeah.
Because I believe in this stuff, and it's like, we wish for things, right? And all of a sudden you get them, and then you never look back and say, hey, man, I wished for this,
The gratitude that
Yeah, like the level of,
yeah.
and I believe, that
I've
could,
learned this recently. I've been implementing it every morning, bro. Gratitude.
it's a huge thing.
It is.
And by gratitude, like, people always say, oh, practice the gratitude for all the things you do have and all this. It's like, no, why don't you just practice gratitude that you're able to go through the hardship? How about that? Like, fuck the things you have. Like, how about I'm just grateful, like, that I have my legs, that I could do the Stairmaster. Like, there's this post, it's like, the millionaire or the multimillionaire in the jet wishes. No, excuse me. It all starts from like the guy that's in the hospital bed wishes he was paraplegic. The guy that's paraplegic wishes he could ride a bike. The guy that's riding a bike wishes he had a car. The guy that had his car wishes he had first class on a plane, or wish he could take a plane ride. The guy that's on a plane wishes he could get first class and then private and so on, right?
Own the plane.
But through those moments, do you ever look back and say, man, I'm grateful that I'm, able to walk and able to this and able to go through all the steps, right? Like, never mind the plane and the fact that you're not taking even first class, you're able to do private now. Never mind all of that. Like, go back to the basics. Like, are you,
Can you walk onto a plane?
Yeah, can you walk onto the plane?
You know what I mean?
It's a very big difference.
Yeah.
Right? So, I think when you start doing that, you feel when you do accomplish something, you have that level of gratitude for it, then you're at peace, I believe.
Bro.
It could always be taken away, right? There could be a competitor that comes
Nothing's
in, somebody
forever.
that's better than you in whatever way, but
Mhm.
at least you're at peace because you did the right way. You did it with the right intention, the right,
Yes. You can sleep.
Yeah, exactly. Name one person who inspires you lately.
Lately, my son,
Your son?
11
Amazing. How old is he?
11 years old.
11?
Yeah, Liam.
In what way and how?
His resilience, man.
His resilience? Yeah.
Yeah. He's experiencing a lot emotionally, but he's always upbeat. Positive spin on things all the time.
It's good.
You know?
It's a good mindset to have. Definitely.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go into detail.
Yeah.
But like he's at his 11 years, he's seen some things, that's not unusual or uncommon in
Sure.
the household, right? But
But it still impacts. Like, just because it's like what you say, maybe a
Normalized.
normal or normalized, exactly. Doesn't mean that it doesn't impact.
of course,
There's a
right?
huge impact.
Yeah.
Right? Like I come from a single mother. My father left my mom.
Mm.
Hundreds of thousands of people.
Yeah,
Men
I'm in the
have
same
left,
boat.
right?
Yeah.
You're in the same boat, right? So it's like, okay, and
Yeah.
like, but that doesn't mean that it didn't impact me in several ways,
Brother,
right?
he made me a better father.
1,000%, it's gonna make me the best father.
Yeah.
100% on that,
Yeah.
on my life. But it's also negatively impacted me in ways that till this day I'm still challenged by those.
Mm. This is why I was saying people think this is just aesthetics and all for the show. They didn't realize there's a lot of pain.
Yep.
You're seeing these muscles, you're seeing pain.
Yep.
And this, like just thinking back to how things are, how they got to where they are, and his dealing with all of it, he's inspired me to be strong, man.
Yeah, that's good, man. A lot of people feel like they have to look upwards to learn, when sometimes that child could teach you something if you just open up your ears, close your mouth, and just listen, And with your case, the way you're describing it, it's like, it's much bigger than just his mouth. It's his actions, his body language, his how he carries himself. It's definitely very inspirational. You know what I mean? Like even me, I would be very inspired by him. You know what I mean? Because I don't know. For me, I realized good people come in every shape, size, form, age, everything. And bad people come in every shape, size, form, and everything. And like that term of like, don't judge a book by its cover. It's like that's what I'm talking about. It's like,
real.
yeah. I think really what we're separated by is just the mindset, and I think your kid has a growth mindset and, doesn't understand what that is currently, but he just acquired it and he sees much more than what the situation is today. And truth of the matter is, whatever he's going through doesn't mean his life's over, and he's going to get past it just as many people have before.
Mhm.
And, the people that don't get past it are in this fixed mindset, thinking that that's the whole life.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, that was part of your life and you went through that hardship like me. Like I grew up without a father. would I had wished I had a father? Of course.
100%, yeah.
But I'm not gonna look back and play the victim mind, the victim card and say, oh well, I'm not as good, or I'm not as big, or my business isn't as big, or this or that. Like, man, fuck all those excuses, right? And I know now, but when you see someone young carrying that mindset, you're like, damn, man, I love you. Like you're like a real inspiration, right? Because like you don't even know why you are the way you are. You just are,
Yeah.
Where like I know, okay, I'm having a negative thought. I'm having a couple of bad days. I know. It's like, all right, I need to get myself out of this.
Yeah.
They just do it.
He's just naturally
naturally
that
does
kid,
it,
bro.
Yeah, I know. There's characters out there that are like that. My mom.
Glass
But I just called her.
time. Yeah.
I just called her. I was like, hey, mom, how was your day? Never better than today. You know where she was hours before that? At a funeral. Like, what are you talking about? How is it never better than today? Well, hold on. Yeah, she went to a funeral. She experienced something negative and something sad, right? She knew the person. They were younger than her. So it was even more sadder in that sense, right?
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean she's not grateful for today. Her fingers are working her like for life, just for life alone, right? And that, I'm like, straight up, I tell her, I'm like, it kind of pisses me off when I get on the phone with you and you tell me nothing, blah, 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 blah. And it's like
positivity.
and then when I get off the phone, I'm like, man, I'm a piece of shit. Why would I even say that? Like, she just lives with it. She's not being fake. She's not being inspired by social media to be like, like, no, she's just genuinely happy. Why? Because she's genuinely grateful. She sees much more than the negative. She sees the positive.
Glass half full.
There's a lot of truth to it. The glass full, and my mom was one of those people. Me, I'm like 90% of that. But there's a 10%. No, it's just, excuse my language, fucking empty.
Yeah.
It's just bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, everything's just gone wrong. Timing, this, that, whatever it may be.
I can't be that guy. I can't look at it that way.
But I'm telling you, when I get into that 10%, that 90 obviously has to take over.
Mhm.
It's not like I sit and dwell in the 10. It subconsciously comes out.
Of course, you're
And I'm like,
you're acknowledging it at least.
yes, I'm just acknowledging that this hit, that hit, this hit, and then I just go back to reality because it's perception, right?
Yeah.
When in doubt, zoom out, and you're like, holy shit, my life's actually beautiful. And these are all just little problems that I'm just making a big problem out of.
Making a mountain of a molehill.
Yeah, like internalizing it the wrong way.
Yes.
Just overcome it and nothing will be of it, right? Like
another Tuesday.
Just another Tuesday, I don't know where I got this from, and again, a stupid quote and whatever. I don't know. One of those influencers online, Jay Shetty or one of them. I'm not sure. I just say Jay Shetty because he's one of the guys that says this, or maybe even Dave Asprey or something. I don't know. But we all wake up, every single one of us, with 100 problems, and they're different every single day, right? Today's 100 problems is I was trying to get here on time. I couldn't because 401 was 40, I don't know what it was, but 40 minutes from 3 exits. I was like, okay, so let me get off the highway. Now another problem exists. Why? Because now everything off the highway is packed. So I go through the side street. Now another problem. So it's just like problem after problem after problem. Okay, so you're going to have 100 problems. Imagine you're sick.
Mm-hmm.
You think any of those problems matter? No. You only have one problem.
Try to get better.
I don't care about the traffic. I don't care about this. I don't care about this podcast. I don't care about nothing. I care about one thing, just getting better. Yeah. Right? So,
what are you focusing on?
What do you focus on?
Yeah.
Right? So that perception, again, when in doubt, zoom out, man. Yeah. When you think you're like down and out and shit, just look out, man.
What really matters in this moment.
Yeah. Life is not that bad, man. We live in Canada. I'm not saying it's the best country, but I'm saying there's a lot worse places to
Trust me, we could be in a lot.
Oh my God, a lot more.
First world problems where people are sitting there ending their lives over it,
Back to the fitness. What's one underrated exercise everyone should be doing?
Stairs.
I hear you.
Stairs. I'm not even joking. I'm being dead ass. Yeah. Stairs. Like, again, I'm learning to love them.
Yeah. It's funny you say that. I literally just had the conversation today with another gentleman at the gym that is, again, jacked, ripped, big guy, you know what I mean? And he looks at me and always says, man, you're getting tired of this. I'm like, brother, you're just not doing what I'm doing. And he's like, yeah, I've been thinking about going and doing cardio. I'm like, no, not cardio, stairs.
Yeah.
I said, listen, you look great, bro. Look at your shoulders. Like, they're probably bigger than mine. You're chest is bigger than mine. Like, relax, bro. You look good.
Conditioning.
Whether you go upstairs and do the bike or this or that or this or whatever, you're gonna look the same in terms of like you're gonna look better, but you're gonna look the same. But the stairs, there's something mentally that you get out of it. I can't explain it. It's just like it's like there's just something about it. I can't explain it. I wish I can articulate it, but the feeling itself, it's just a different breed. It's a different feeling. And again, certain people are good at it. They can go for 20, 30 minutes, no problem.
2 hours, bro.
Go for 2 hours then.
Honestly, like
Yeah.
Austin, you know Austin.
Yeah.
But that does 2-3 hours.
Oh my God, Austin.
Bro.
Bro, if you ever listen to this, Austin, you're a fucking machine.
Bro.
No, he's not. No.
I know.
No. The 1 in the 1 million, that. No.
Not normal, bro.
No. Like, even Amr would be like,
What do you
bro,
mean?
who is this guy? No, I'm telling you, even Amr would be like, who's this guy? His conditioning, his look, his everything. Even Amr would be like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
His work ethic, on the other
it's
hand.
good.
It shits on anybody.
Yeah.
Like, literally shits. Like,
And
I don't care how hard you think.
He's covered up the whole time.
No, covered up the whole time.
Very rarely
Nobody,
you can get that shit off,
nobody even knows how he looked. That's the funny part. I didn't even know how he looked for 3 months of doing cardio right next to him.
Mhm.
He would be doing it. I'd come, do my workout.
Leave.
I'd go upstairs to do my cardio, which is 30 minutes, and he would still be up there with weights doing cardio.
Yeah.
And he's gone up and down how many times, done
Doing
pull-ups.
stats,
Doing
yeah.
too much intensity. Anyways,
Yeah.
never shows his body once. And then
Different
one time
breed.
I caught him in the morning, early, and nobody was really in there, and he wore a tank top. And I was like, I looked over from the mirror, I was in prep, and I was like, oh my God, I hope this motherfucker, like, I hope this guy, because I thought everybody's against me. You know, when you're in prep, you're in your own mind. You're like, yo, that guy's bigger than me. That guy's bigger than me. That guy's not even prepping. He's not even natural, that one guy that I'm comparing myself. It doesn't matter. Everyone's competition when you're in prep mind.
Yeah, bro.
When I saw this guy, I was so deflated. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Straight up, no offense. Like, you're like nothing compared to him. And by nothing, I don't mean you look just as good as him. I mean, there's just
Another level,
There-
man. Those steps, man.
I don't care how much you lift. I don't care. When you put it all together,
Conditioning is different.
yeah, it's like next
Yeah,
level.
yeah.
It's just,
One time he took off his shirt. He's like, yo, bro, I can't have you with your shirt off me now. No. He took off his shirt. He's like, yo, I have to flex with you, bro. And rocks away. I'm like, what the fuck? It's
bro,
like, yo,
I get angry. I shut up and I get angry. You know how I make jokes when you put on your shirt?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
because I get inspired. No, I get angry when he takes off his shirt. I actually get angry because he's too humble. That's the problem. You still have that little, like you're very humble. It's not like you walk around like a tough guy. No. It's
dude, I just get hot and sweaty. I'm
Yeah.
like one change to leave here with, so I take off my sweater, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
And don't get me wrong, don't be taking off your sweater because you're too jacked and making other people feel small.
I mean,
but nevertheless, you are humble about it. But this guy is like another level, bro. It's like he's etched in with a level of the highest level. It's not like there's even a question of he's taking anything. And if he is, good for him because he's still crushing those people that are taking shit. If he was,
next level, bro.
he's not.
Next
But I'm saying, even if I always say, if anyone should be enhanced, it's that motherfucker. If that guy got enhanced,
Oh, problems, bro. Yeah.
there's no C-bum.
Mm.
There's no Arnold. That's how that's
Yeah.
how crazy that guy looks
Yeah.
naturally. Like,
Yeah.
like I don't think I'm
Veins have veins, bro.
his veins have veins. It's insane. And I think it's obviously that perception now because we don't see him and we see the work all day, every day, and we see the sweaty ass sweater
Yeah.
and we don't see him. And then when we do see him, we're like, oh my God.
That's what's
And
going
it scares us because we're like, we're putting the 2 and 2 together now.
on. Yeah,
You're like,
yeah. But I feel
holy.
what I gotta fucking do. I'm not looking forward to that shit, bro.
Yeah, right.
Right? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, right.
I don't know, bro. I'm like, I pushed myself for that extra 30 minutes and I felt great, but doing an hour, I don't know, man. Like I even try raw dogging it so I don't get used to headphones and music as a boost to help me do it. I try to raw dog it too to see if I can do it. You know? Like,
And it's no,
it sucks, bro.
trust me, I've tried to.
It sucks.
And like I have in those times of dark moments where I don't want to, I'm like, oh, you don't want to? Well, you're not getting your headphones on.
Boom, there you go.
That podcast you thought you were gonna listen to when you're on the fucking Stairmaster.
Yeah, fuck that.
Oh, you didn't want to do it today? You know where? You're not watching nothing,
Mm.
and it's 15 minutes. You're only doing a 20.
Mm.
Well, you're doing an extra 5 today. Why? Because this is the moment. That's the moment. That's the epiphany moment. That's the moment I realized you you don't want to do it, do more.
Yeah.
That's it.
Do more of what you hate.
Like literally just do more.
Yeah.
Like actually do more.
My biggest,
You know?
like I hated legs, bro. Legs,
Yeah.
I make sure I do once a week and just run. Like, and again, running from the effort,
Yes.
right? I learned, like, yo, like, if you really want this, why are you
Right.
trying to shortchange yourself,
Yeah.
bro? You know, like, do you, like, you hate the work, but you want the results?
I have that shortcoming with legs as well. I actually have potential. I actually have pretty big legs naturally. Like naturally, I just have bigger legs.
Yeah.
Bigger, like waist is small and legs are pretty good.
Mhm.
But I've never actually pulled that potential out because I've
Bro.
never honed in on them. There's been a period of time, 10 minutes, like 10 minutes, like 10 weeks, I put in a lot of effort and then I fall off. 10 weeks I put in, I've never put in like 2-3 years.
Consistent,
Like 3 years. And when we talk about effort and we talk about consistency, we talk about years.
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
No, this is
Weeks, months. We're talking about prep.
No.
I'm talking about years. But I also believe there will be a time where I'll put in a lot more time in my legs and I'll get a lot more passionate and again learn to love that uncomforting feeling. And you can judge a lot of people by their legs, right? And the level of uncomforting, how uncomfortable they can get just by looking at their legs.
Yes.
But on the contrary to that as well, I've been very uncomfortable building this business and my legs don't obviously show for it, right? So like maybe I haven't been comfortable here, but I've also been very uncomfortable in life, So
Yeah.
but again, I'm sure if I got very uncomfortable with my legs, my business would also grow naturally. Why? Because I'm willing to sit, I want to leave, it's Friday or this, that, or whatever, or I don't want to take this call or a task.
Guess what?
I'm going to take 3 calls. I'm going to
There
do
you
2
go.
extra tasks.
Yeah, doing what I
Why?
want to do.
Exactly.
To get the
it's-
result.
Exactly.
I mean, if people come to grips with that, the sooner they do that, the better.
Like if you just do things that you don't want to do, not
Life
that
will change.
if you the things that you don't want to do. I'm saying if you just do all the things you don't want to do, it's like for 1 month. People always ask, what should I be doing? Do all the things you don't want to do.
Yeah.
And then come back to me in a month, and then I'll tell you what to do. Like imagine that.
Yeah.
Right? Like, what I always tell people, how should I be eating? Should I get OTR meals? No, don't get OTR meals. Don't even think about OTR meals. Just stop fucking eating bad food.
Start there.
How about that?
Yeah.
Just stop eating McDonald's. Stop eating this. Stop eating that. Whatever the bullshit you're eating. I always
Yeah.
go back to McDonald's. I'm saying fast food in any store.
Yeah.
Stop eating out. Cut your Uber Eats.
Yeah.
Once you cut your Uber Eats, guess what? You still got to eat. Figure it out.
Yeah.
You're going to eat a healthy meal that you don't even know how to cook a healthy meal. It's still better than eating out.
Facts.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why? Because there's effort. There's discipline.
Yeah.
Guess
And you
what?
feel
Maybe
better.
you feel
That
better.
You actually put in the effort and you're eating your own food.
100%. And now, let's just say the calories are higher in that than the eating out. That still is a better decision.
Yeah.
Because you put effort. You
Yeah.
put discipline. You to put time into it.
Yeah.
It's still better than fucking ordering on Uber Eats.
Facts.
Something that's healthier.
No.
No. See what I mean? So the thing is it's like when you realize that like that's what it is, it's just being uncomfortable. Like the one thing that I always go back to when when that victim mindset's trying to present itself, and I'm like, shut up. My
Mhm.
internal thoughts like, shut up. It really just comes down to one thing only. The hardest job in this world, I don't care what anybody fucking says about this. I know it. I don't care. You can't challenge me. You can bring me all the facts you want. Go ahead. I don't give a fuck. It's being a mother.
Cool.
9 months of carrying that fucking thing inside you,
18 years
crushing
of
your
raising.
hormones,
Yeah.
crushing your whole body, changing your whole body.
Your
Like,
whole body.
what are you talking about? You have a body growing in a body, and then it comes out, and then you gotta feed that
From your body.
from your body. So it takes even more.
It's the sucking.
And then for the
life
rest of
out
your
you.
life, you need to think about
Energy,
it. Yeah,
effort, love, attention.
So when I complain about a fucking whatever lift or whatever this or I don't want to eat this chicken breast or I don't want to eat
Like,
this
shut
shit.
the fuck up.
It's
bro.
like, buddy, who?
Mother's got it way harder than you do in the gym right now. Perspective,
Perspective.
right? Yeah.
That's something else I'll talk to you about off camera with somebody that comes up to always talk about how hard their life is. And there was like this mom beside me, and we both know her, and she's fit, and she has like 2 kids. Has a family, loving family,
And crushing
takes
it.
care of her husband, is very present in every aspect. Has a job, and this other individual is talking about how hard life is. And I'm looking, I'm like, I don't think we should be having this conversation together in front of her, brother. Like, I understand your perspective, but not in front of her. That's embarrassing. You just made me look weak. Like, yo, first of all, you made yourself look
Maybe I
weak.
was gonna say
Because I'm not agreeing with you, but I'm kind of just like downplaying. Like, hey, yeah, you know, you're right. It's, what are you talking about?
yeah.
What are you talking about?
I think we should stop doing that to people. We should stop patting them on the back for their bullshit. Be more real about it.
You know what? I wanted to in that moment just stop and think. And I was like, you know what? I'm so into my workout at this moment. And like, they presented themselves to where I was, and it was like I was doing my set, and I was literally on my last set too. So I was like, you know what, I rather, you know, I was done my last set, and they were gonna go, and then you know that conversation kind of went about. And long story short, I was just like, you know, it's not like I don't have, I actually respect the person too, but I was like, when that came out, I was like, you know, like what perception, what delusional thought came out of your, like, did you? I wish somebody recorded us right now because
Real.
like. You know, you said it in front of that person out of all people. Like, brother, what are you talking about?
Yeah, I mean, people should really just take a sip. Like, again, that term first world problems. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of times I want to open my mouth and complain about shit, and I literally stop myself. Like, wait a minute, I have all my faculties. I have a job. My kids are good. You know what I mean? I'm not hungry for that place. You know what I mean? Like, I start checking. I'm like, shut the fuck up, bro. You know what I mean?
Like, what are you talking about?
Just shut up. You know what I mean? Just do what you gotta do and just keep it moving, bro. Complain about what and to who?
Nobody cares.
No one's fucking listening.
Literally, nobody cares. Actually, the funny part is, absolutely no one cares. Like, don't get me wrong. Genuinely, people that care,
of course.
yeah, they genuinely care for you. But when I tell you nobody cares, and I mean this with respect, my mom too. Like, my mom, she loves me unconditionally. She cares when I'm having a bad day. When I tell you care, I mean, what is my mom gonna do about it? Nothing.
That's a you problem, son.
It's nothing.
Yeah.
And let's just say she wants to help. How is she gonna help? Let's just say, like, don't get me wrong. If you're having financial issues and your mom gives you money, okay, that's helping you. But is she really helping you? No,
she's not.
no, because you haven't solved the problem. You just created a
She
solution.
just band-aided it for
You
you.
just put a band-aid, so she didn't really help you. So in reality, no one's gonna help you but yourself.
Mm-hmm.
End of story. People can support you
Yes.
while you're helping yourself.
Correct.
But there's no such thing as someone's coming to save you, bro.
No one's
And when you
saving
take
me.
that in and you realize that, and the faster you take that in,
The
you
better off
realize-
you are.
well, for yourself mentally,
Mhm.
like mentally, never mind, you're gonna be successful and you're gonna gain millions of followers or you're gonna have people that love you and all this crap. Put all that shit aside. Money and all this success. People are always selling this bullshit.
Mm.
Put all that aside. When you look at yourself in the mirror and you say, man, you know, I took care of my own shit. You know, I owned up to it. I lived up to it. You know,
Mhm.
like I think that's the most important thing, you know,
100%.
and the feeling that you get out of that.
100%.
But yeah, man, you know, I'm happy you came today. You know, this is all new to me. And the truth is, everything we talked about is this right now. I
Yeah.
don't want to do this. I feel like it's cheesy. Oh, another podcast, another this, another that. It's like, who the hell do I think I am? You know, who's going to listen to this? You know, I'm already thinking all these bad negative thoughts like, oh, I'm nowhere near Joe Rogan, you know, and all this other crap. But at the same time, it's like, you know, I don't give a fuck for 100,000 people because out of those 100,000 people, 90,000 people may buy my product, but they're not really listening to the real message. You know, I'd rather just change one person's life, two people's life. You know, I always talk about it. I was actually having a conversation with Mark, our cameraman behind the camera, you know, before this, it was like, you know, just trying to better yourself, just try to be better. And, you know, it's not always about validation or showing people. It's like, if there's an old person that lives 3 doors down from you and you can just do one task for them, that really helps them. Like, just
Why
be a
not?
better person. Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Right? Like, just do something challenging to better yourself, you know? And this podcast, same thing. It's like, you know, everybody, you know me, I love speaking, but I like speaking to people, not fucking camera.
Yeah.
Like, I'm weird, you know? I'm like, social media crap. That's why I can't do the influencing thing just because it's not like, I'm a real person, man. Like, I don't care to regurgitate something that somebody else said.
Right.
I don't
So
have-
let me just
yeah.
just on that same path, me doing the videos I'm doing now on socials, that's not me. Me talking to the camera, that's me being uncomfortable.
That's it.
right? And that same day with you and Danny,
Yeah.
right? That was me out of my comfort zone,
I know.
right? And
Well,
gotta
I know
take
it's
my
not
hats off to
comforting
you.
because, no offense, the way you're doing it, you're just doing it.
right,
It's not a real plan. This is a
No.
plan.
right. But but
Studio,
what I'm
this,
saying,
that,
though,
you know?
it-
But that's
it-
smart.
It just all goes into you just doing what you need to do, bro. And I commend you for it. You know what I mean?
Thank you, man. Yeah,
Hats
it's
off.
definitely a challenge.
Fuck everybody.
Exactly, I know.
Because I gotta say the same thing to myself.
Yeah.
Who cares, bro? Who cares? There's so much garbage on the internet anyway. We're not producing garbage, right?
That's what I'm saying. It's coming from a genuine place.
right.
You know, I had the first guest was my wife, and again, I felt most comfortable with her. I'm like, fuck, let's do it, right? We'll
Yeah.
just talk, and we did just talk. And honestly, we had an edited version that a couple people have already watched, and one being actually Mark's girlfriend right behind the camera, and he told me she got a lot out of it,
Mm.
like a lot, because we talked about the relationship aspect and building the business together and all this
Yeah.
and how it all came about, right? A little bit of a different conversation than you and I had today, but she got so much out of it,
Yeah.
and I think to myself, I'm like, man, I watch a bunch of these people that I have no idea who the fuck they are.
Like, you learn from them, huh?
And I take in and I'm like, man, this is cool. I'm like, oh, let me see how many followers. I'm like, oh, he has 14,000 followers. I'm like, yeah, but who fucking cares? What am I going to wait till he has 600,000 followers to listen to him?
That's what I'm saying.
I got something out of him today. Let me just get in
Yeah.
some more out of him.
Dude, I don't care if you have 5 followers.
That's what I'm
If
saying.
I learn something from you, I'm following you, bro. Like,
That's what I mean, right? Like, I'll take it in your content, no problem, right? Like, I got something out of it, right? And I applied it, and yeah, it's amazing, and I felt good about it. So, like, yeah, man, it's just, again, stepping out of your comfort zone, doing the things that you don't want to do, because that's how you just make yourself feel good,
and being comfortable with
Yeah.
discomfort. I've been putting at the end of my videos, especially the ones I've been doing the stairs with.
Yeah.
When I feel good, I'm like, I have to record myself walking away. I'm like, yeah, I do it. One day I cracked a smile. I'm like, holy fuck, I really actually enjoyed that. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna let these guys know that. And I put, I put POV.
Good, yeah.
Like you hate the
Yeah.
stairs, but you love the feeling you get after.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just like, holy shit. And I started building on that. Like, I really feel like a better person for it.
100%.
I feel
I
different.
think it's just a habit that's going to translate into everything else in your life, right?
Yes.
Like, it's like shitty feeling, but like that shitty feeling turns into a good feeling because you chase it eventually, and then that good feeling turns into a habit which then translates into the rest of your life, which then gives you results in different aspects of your life.
yeah.
It fast tracks everything, and you don't even realize why. It's because you've
Mindset.
recoded your mind and your brain, your mind and your body to act accordingly, which is doing the hard thing.
Yeah.
And not just necessarily the hard thing that you love doing, the hard thing that you don't love doing. Because, like, don't get me wrong, when I'm chest pressing fucking 70s, like, or 80s, and or 70s, excuse me, when I'm trying to do, like, the perfect form, the perfect tempo, it's hard. And I love doing chest. I love doing shoulders. But, like, there's exercises in the chest, while I'm doing my chest, that I don't like.
Mhm.
And I'm still going to push just as hard as I did on the things I
Yeah.
did like.
For
you know?
instance, doing the unilateral rows cables.
Yeah,
I hate those.
Yeah.
It's in the plan. I got to do them,
you have to.
And to be honest, I'm starting to like them.
Yeah, because you're starting to feel something new, and yeah,
sensation.
and it's putting everything else together. Like
Dude.
your other back exercises are now working
I
in
have
sync.
my lats right now.
I
when
know.
do the pull downs. When I see the videos, I'm like, holy shit! You can see the actual shit wrapping. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
again, and it's all coming together
yeah,
because
hammer
you're
over the
leaning
stone,
in.
man,
Yeah, you're leaning more into the things that you haven't been doing.
that I hate.
And you hate, right?
Yeah.
And that's what it is. But yeah, man, thank you for coming.
Thanks for having
Appreciate
me.
it.
man.
Yeah,
Appreciate
100%. It was a good chat.
Yes, sir. I'll have to come again. When I've actually won. When I win.
Yeah, when
When I win.
but 2026, you know what it is. It's my season,
Your
so.
turn. I'll take a back seat.
Definitely, you're gonna have to take a backseat there. I already talked to Amber. Like we're on it. Like it doesn't matter who's working with them. It's ours.
Yeah.
But for the people that want to follow, shout out your handle for
Yeah.
Instagram and all that.
I got a couple of them. The primary right now is the Hyperbolic Chamber, and the other is Bishop Brawley Chambers. Brawley with 2 L's.
Awesome. We'll put it up obviously on the
We're
video.
about the same page.
Yeah.
Just I have them collaborating. I was trying to just build one more than the other.
Awesome.
trying to get different following, but same guy, same content,
Yep.
more or less. So you can follow either or.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
You guys definitely should. You know, he's somebody that has a great physique, but you know, he's struggling just as much as I am. And you know, that's the love I have for bodybuilding. You know, it doesn't matter how good you are, we're all struggling, every single one, you know,
Yes,
and
sir.
the best of the best say the same thing, right? Like it's, you know, the harder you struggle, the better the result is, you know. So
Yeah.
we'll leave it with that, and you know, hope you guys have a good day.